Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Green and I'm a couples counselor. Welcome back to Evolving in Love. Today we're diving into chapter 9 of my new book, The Butterfly Blueprint. Revitalize your relationship and keep your heart fluttering forever. In this chapter, we explore unity in relationships. Let's start with what unity really means. It's not about losing yourself or becoming the same as your partner. Unity is about creating a beautiful balance between being yourself and being part of something bigger. Think of it as a dance between leading and following, where two people come together, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and ideas, and form something new. Interdependence. Now, speaking of dance, let's talk about the Argentine tango. This unchoreographed dance relies entirely on the connection between the dancers. They feel each other's energy, move together, and respond in perfect sync. That's what unity in a relationship looks like. It's about being two people who create something greater together, without losing their own rhythm. Or imagine the two sets of wings on a butterfly. Remember my metaphor just here. Each set of wings exists in its own right, but they work together so the butterfly can function and fly. Each partner in a relationship brings their own uniqueness, but the magic happens when they come together and blossom as a couple. Now, this process isn't always easy. It takes growth, stretching, and sometimes stepping outside your comfort zone. Just like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, couples undergo a transformation when they commit to each other. Growth can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary to reach a higher level of human connection. Couples get caught up in the me-you duality dilemma when each partner feels a strong need to preserve their own views, habits, and ways of doing things, seeing the other person's ways as too different or even incompatible. This can lead to seeing issues less as shared challenges and more as your way versus my way. We take things personally, and simple disagreements like how time is spent or handling everyday routines can feel like a tug of war. The two principles of unity and differentiation from chapter 8 can seem contradictory, but the key is to ask yourself, why? Why am I focusing on my own set of wings right now? Or why am I leaning into the relationship right now? Am I aiming to connect, or am I acting out of self-interest? No matter what you're doing, the connection needs to be considered, that shared place or the body of the butterfly. Consciously uniting isn't easy, but the good news is we have 3 essential practices: being intentional, embracing the labor of love, and staying committed to help us. First, let's talk about being intentional. This is all about aiming for the well-being of your connection. So often we hear, "That's not what I meant. You're taking it wrong." But the real question is, what was my intention? Think of a surgeon using a knife to save a life versus someone using it in anger to harm. The action might look the same, but the intention changes everything. When we focus on our intentions, it helps us rise above defensive reactions. That "for me alone" mindset only creates conflict. When both partners deliberately focus on the we, it builds balance. But here's the thing. Intentionality doesn't happen on its own. It takes effort. You're purposefully proactive instead of reactive, consciously creating the future instead of reliving the past. Picture Kofi and Amina, who often argue about household chores. One day, Kofi, feeling overwhelmed, snaps at Amina. If Kofi took a moment to ask himself, why am I venting my own frustration right now? Is it working? And am I aiming to connect, or am I acting out of self-interest? It would help him move beyond his own perspective, focusing instead on actions that benefit both him and Amina. This is the power of being intentional, creating space to see the bigger picture and choosing actions that nurture connection. Another powerful way to practice intentionality is by creating a shared vision for your relationship. When both partners know what they want for their future, decision making gets easier. It's like having a North Star to guide you. Try this. Grab a piece of paper and make a Venn diagram. In the center, in the overlapping circle area, write down what you both want in your relationship. Then, in the outer circles, write down your individual priorities. Some differences that you have will complement each other, while others might clash. The goal is to recognize these differences and be intentional about finding common ground. The second key practice is exerting in the labor of love. This goes beyond simple accommodation, as we discussed in Chapter 8. While accommodating might mean making minor adjustments to harmonize your differences, the labor of love requires deeper, more meaningful sacrifices. It's about giving up something important for the relationship's well-being. These conscious acts of yielding help us to unite. A labor of love applies to many areas: nurturing a dream, building a home, raising children. Just like you might sacrifice to learn an instrument, succeed in sports, or pursue a higher education, your relationship deserves the same effort and care. For example, Sarah knows her husband Tom has had a tough week and wants to unwind on Saturday. Even though she'd prefer a quiet night in, she plans a fun night out because she knows it'll lift his spirits. Her willingness to prioritize his happiness helps them to attain the principle of unity, even if it's not her ideal evening. In contrast, a labor of guilt might look like an effort to connect, but it's often done to avoid conflict or escape feeling inadequate. It's not a choice to honor the relationship. It's more about self-protection. While it might seem sacrificial on the surface, it often leads to resentment because it's motivated by fear and obligation, which quietly strain the relationship. The third and final practice for unity is commitment, which serves as the safety net for your relationship. Commitment is about standing by each other, not just in the highs, but in the lows too. Relationships can be like a roller coaster with moments of joy, but also times when challenges pile up and it's tempting to drift apart. Commitment means being there, especially during those tough moments. Picture a couple, Anna and Ben, facing financial stress. They might feel frustrated, wondering if they're even compatible anymore. But commitment reminds them of their shared goal to build something bigger than themselves. Instead of giving up, they stick it out, supporting each other, even when it's hard. Commitment isn't just a wedding vow. It's a daily practice, renewed in small ways every day. Think of it as tending to a shared garden. You both want it to thrive, but it needs regular attention, care, and love to grow. Here's a great exercise to help. Sit down with your partner and create a shared garden agreement. Imagine what you want this garden to look like. Maybe you want more quality time, while your partner values open communication. These are like the seeds you plant together. Once you've shared your desires, write down your garden agreement. It doesn't need to be formal, just a reflection of your shared intentions. It might include things like, we'll make time for date nights, or we'll handle household tasks as a team. And just like a real garden, your relationship needs regular attention. Revisit your agreement when life gets busy or you're feeling disconnected. It's a reminder of the commitment you made to this space you share together. For example, Alyssa and Stuart, despite their busy lives, pull out their garden agreement every few months to reconnect. Maybe they plan a weekend together or tackle a project as a team to get back on track with their vision for the relationship. It's like returning to the blueprint of their relationship, reminding them of the effort and love they're investing in this shared journey. Remember, gardens don't thrive on neglect. They need love, care, and effort. Pull out the weeds of small frustrations before they take over, and enjoy the fruits of your labor, whether it's a peaceful night together or a spontaneous adventure. Give this a try and let me know how it goes in the comments. I'd love to hear about the gardens you and your partner are creating together. Okay, well that's it for our discussion on unity. If you found this helpful, please comment, like, and share it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Next time, we're going to dive into chapter 10, all about wholeness. I can't wait to share that with you. See you soon.